So without wasting more time, it is time for Honorable Franklin Mitika Linturi, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, to come as the first witness. And this is the re-examination and cross-examination will happen, and we will advise accordingly. And he has 4 hours. Thank you. The clerk, I advise that the oath be administered by our clerk. Thank you.
I, Linturi, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matter and its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Now, good morning, sir. Please, can you confirm? So now before the committee, the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development?
Yes.
Have you placed before this honorable committee your instrument of appointment?
Yes.
Where is it to be found?
I think Bantu 17, let me check.
Perhaps as you look for it, sir, can you confirm whether you saw the affidavit now before this committee, the big document you're holding? Did you swear that affidavit?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And the letter of my appointment, of the instrument of appointment, is on bundle number 1.
Document number 1. That would be page 38, Honorable Chair and members. So, the Honorable Linturi, are you happy with this affidavit being admitted by the committee as part of your evidence?
I am.
How about the documents attached to it? You have attached, I believe, 23 documents to it.
I am comfortable with them.
So, Honorable Chair, we pray that the affidavit and the documents attached to it, their 23 number, be admitted as part of the official record before you. Honorable Linturi, again by way of background, is this office of Cabinet Secretary the only public office you've held in your life?
No, I've held other offices.
Please tell us briefly which are these other offices that you have held and when you held them.
I've been a member of Parliament for Igembe South constituency and the Senator for Meru County.
When and for how long were you member of Parliament for Igembe South?
I was a member of Parliament for Igembe South for 10 years and the Senator Meru County for 5 years.
As member of Parliament for Igembe, did you ever hold any offices within Parliament?
Yeah, I remember I was the chair of the Public Investments Committee my first term as a member of Parliament. I was a member of different committees when I served as the member as a member in the National Assembly.
Would I be correct to say that those are the offices listed in paragraph 2 of your affidavit, sir?
Paragraph 2.
That would be on
Yes.
page, I believe, 4 and 5.
Yes.
No, sorry, it's page 4, Honorable Chair. Honorable Linturi, it says you held various offices in the National Assembly, various offices in the Senate. How would you describe your tenure while holding those offices?
I
believe that I served those offices with honor and dignity, with distinction, because my record speaks for itself.
Honor, dignity, and distinction. In those 15 years, sir, were there complaints that you should relinquish those state offices because of allegations of gross misconduct?
Not at all.
Not at all. Let's come to the business at hand. Are you aware why we are here, sir? Have you read the motion against you?
Yes, I have.
I want us to look at that motion. I don't know whether you have a copy of it. You have a copy of the motion, sir?
Yes.
I want you to go to page 2 of that motion. There is an allegation, Honorable Linturi, that you have grossly violated the Constitution, specifically Article 2, Article 10(1)(c). What is your response to that allegation?
My response is that I have not.
You are also accused in that ground, sir, at Roman 2. Now let's stick to Roman 1 first. Of failing, you acted as a state officer by implementing a public policy to approve the procurement of fake fertilizer. My question to you, do your duties as Cabinet Secretary extend to making public procurement approvals?
No.
As a matter of fact, we sat here yesterday and we kept asking for this approval. Have you been shown any approval that you supposedly made on public procurement?
I'm still waiting for one.
You're still waiting for one?
Yeah, which hasn't come.
Please confirm that your duties are described at paragraph 6 of your affidavit.
Yes.
Do those duties, as outlined there, extend to approving public procurement decisions?
Not at all.
I want to show you, sir, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Can you read for us Section 5.2, sir, of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act?
A provision of an act that provides for a person or body to approve any work or expenditure shall not be construed as giving that person or body any power with respect to the entire procurement proceedings.
So let us assume for argument's sake, the Honorable Linturi, we know it is not proven, but we can assume it for argument's sake. If we assume for argument's sake that you indeed approved some procurement decision, would the section you just read justify imposing liability on you?
No.
No. I want to show you again Section 69. Section 69(1) of the same law, which is, Honorable Chair, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Can you read it to the committee?
All approvals relating to any procedures in procurement shall be in writing and properly dated, documented, and filed.
So we have been told approvals must be in writing, dated, and filed. This accusation against you, which runs 10 times in this motion, have you been shown the writing through which you supposedly approved public procurement decisions?
No.
As a matter of fact, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, do Cabinet Secretaries approve matters relating to government operations in writing or orally?
In writing.
In writing. Would I be correct to say that is actually a constitution of command?
Precisely.
So we have a motion here accusing you 10 times, quote unquote, approving public procurement decisions. Have you seen any writing in hand of that approval?
I haven't.
Have you seen any that is typed?
None.
Have you seen any in electronic version?
None.
None. So you will agree, therefore, whichever way we look at this matter, to the best of your knowledge, sir, has this allegation been made out? Has it been proved?
It's not.
I want to show you again provisions of the Procurement Act. Honorable Chair, I'm about to refer to Section 44 and 45. Please read to the Honorable Committee the heading for Section 44. What is the title of that section of the Procurement Act?
Responsibilities of the accounting officer.
Responsibilities of the accounting
officer.
Does that section, to the best of your knowledge, impose any responsibility on the Cabinet Secretaries?
No.
No. But can you read for us subsection 1, sir?
An accounting officer of a public entity shall be primarily responsible for ensuring that the public entity complies with the Act.
So, who bears, according to the decree by Parliament, responsibility for public procurement decisions?
The accounting officers.
Are you the accounting officer of the Ministry of Agriculture?
I am not.
Are you, sir, the accounting officer of the National Cereals and Produce Board?
I am not.
Let us go to section 45. What is the heading?
Corporate decisions and segregation of responsibilities.
Two things. Corporate
Decisions. And
does that idea of corporate decisions, is it consistent with a single big guy, or does it connote a collegial and structured decision making?
A structured decision.
Structured decision making. When he talks of segregation of responsibilities, does that leave any room for someone without an assigned duty in the procurement process to interfere with it?
No.
But let's go to 5, subsection 5.
Or 45.
Yes. What does it say, sir?
For the avoidance of doubt, all public officers or state officers involved in procurement or asset disposal processes shall bear responsibility for their actions and omissions.
So it says state officers, and you are one, sir, if they are involved, the operative word being involved, then they shall bear responsibility, isn't it?
Yes.
Has any material been placed before this committee to show any involvement on your part?
Not at all.
But it also says, sir, their involvement is not just generic, but for their specific acts and omissions, to the best of your knowledge. Has this committee been shown any specific act on your part?
No.
This part 5, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, what is the title just above 44 of the statute you're reading? What is the title of the statute? The heading of that chapter of the statute. What is the...
Part 4.
Yes, part 5.
Internal organization of procuring entities.
So, this part as a section 44 you confirm, which you just read, on the roles of accounting officers. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
It has a section 45 on corporate decisions and segregation of responsibilities.
Yes.
It also has a section 46 on the face of it, as part of the segregation of responsibilities, a body called an evaluation committee.
Yes.
Were you ever part of the evaluation committee that processed these tenders?
No.
Okay. The next section is 47, about the procurement function. Please read 47.1.
A procurement function shall be handled by procurement professionals whose qualifications are recognized in Kenya.
So it says all procurement functions must be handled by procurement professionals.
Yes.
Are you a procurement professional?
No.
It has a 48 on an inspection and acceptance committee, correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Were you, sir, part of the inspection and the acceptance committee for the procurement of the fertilizer in question?
I was not.
It has a section 49 on procuring agencies. And yesterday we were shown some agency agreements. talks of sector-specific procurement agencies. Were you an agent in any procurement of the NCPB?
No.
It talks of consortium buying. Were you involved in any aspect of consortium buying?
No.
So that we don't spend too much time, Honorable Minister, we have this chapter that is heading at just the next section, which I haven't shown you, about transfer of responsibility. In that structured, those are not my words, corporate segregation of responsibilities, do we have any role? We have seen evaluation committees, we've seen agents, we've seen accounting officers, and many other things. Have we seen, can we see anywhere in that chapter of the Procurement Act a role for the Cabinet Secretary?
Not at all.
Sir, in number B, you are accused of, that is page 3, Honorable Chair, of gross violation of Article 46, and the words used through and through is that it appears, Honorable Linturi. The allegation is looking at you, the mover formed the impression. 1B, Roman 1.
This document doesn't appear to have a B.
That will be page 3.
There's Roman 2, Roman 3.
No, there's Roman 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Okay. I think we are running into that problem, Chair, of pagination and whatnot, but it's okay, it's not a major issue. We'll get there shortly. And Chair, because I said the refraction errors, I plan to dedicate 1 hour to Mr. Mawira so the committee can warn me once we reach 3 hours, then Mawira can do 1 hour. Have you found it, Mheshimiwa?
Yes.
It is said there that it appears you have committed. And my question to you, the allegation is that it appears. Can you see that word appears?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, sir, can we just look at people and based on how they appear, we conclude they are grossly violating the Constitution?
It's not possible.
If I look at you and I don't like your face, would that be a valid ground for saying it appears this person has committed a gross violation?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, sir, this allegation of appears, repeated 10 times in this motion, as the mover disclosed these things is able to see with his eyes that we all can't see. As it showed how it appears that you have committed a gross violation of the Constitution. I'll rephrase. Let's stick to B for now. You are accused of violating consumer rights to the right of goods and services of reasonable quality and protection of their health, safety, and economic interests. Are you a distributor of any goods that are at the inquiry before this committee?
No, I'm not.
Are you a manufacturer of any of the goods that are in the inquiry?
No.
But the Honorable Linturi, do your duties as Cabinet Secretary extend to testing goods so that you're sure they're of the right quality? Is that your duty as Cabinet Secretary?
No.
As a matter of fact, Honorable Linturi, do you even have the qualifications that would enable you to know this is fake fertilizer and this is genuine fertilizer?
I don't.
Would I be right therefore to say, as Cabinet Secretary, you are wholly dependent on the advice and judgment of independent agencies of state on this matter?
Correct.
In paragraph C, it says, sir, again you appear to have violated Article 73. What is your response?
I have not.
Has any material to the best of your knowledge been placed before this committee to show how you were supposed to have violated this article?
None.
Let's go to ground 1B. Alleged violation of Article 201. Sir, what is your response to this?
I am not, or I did not violate Article 201. No.
As a matter of fact, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, you having no role as per the statute, is it possible for a person who by law has no business being involved to violate that article in a procurement context?
No.
Let's go to ground 1E. And I would want you to be shown Article 152.5. Can you read Article 152.5A?
Article 5, 1A reads as follows. The President may reassign a Cabinet Secretary, may dismiss a Cabinet Secretary. Do I continue to see?
Yes.
Shall dismiss a Cabinet Secretary if required to do so by a resolution adopted under clause 6 to 10.
So at page 5 of the motion, ground number E, the allegation is that you have breached a constitutional provision that speaks to the powers of the President. What is your response to that, sir?
It's very ridiculous, and that allegation can only be leveled against the President, and it is not possible for me to exercise presidential powers that I'm being alleged to have breached this section, this particular part of the Constitution.
It is also alleged in the same allegation, sir, that you breached paragraph 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the same article. Are those articles, let's assume for argument, Honorable Linturi, that you are as bad as you can possibly be. Would you be capable, even as the bad guy, of breaching those constitutional provisions?
It's not possible.
It is not possible. It is said, sir, that how you breached this constitutional provision, still on page 5, is that you send a communication to the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock, correct?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, has that committee completed its work?
It hasn't.
It hasn't. Is the mover of this motion a member of that committee?
No, he isn't.
Would you agree with me, sir, that only that committee by resolution can accuse you of misleading it?
Correct. Chair, I can only be accused through that committee unless if the standing orders have changed. But when I was here, the standing orders required the committee to table its report, debated by Parliament, adopted by Parliament, and that is when you can comfortably say Parliament has taken a position on a matter under allegations, therefore have been ratified by Parliament. So at this stage you can't.
You can't. But it is also said this matter you are alleged to have lied with relates to GPC, the Atomite Industries. What is the date given of the agreement in question as per that motion?
That the 1st of March 2022.
Now, when you read Roman 1, it says that the cabinet secretary appears to have done this when you like. Were you the cabinet secretary on the 1st of March 2022?
I was not.
You were not.
Yes.
But you have also been accused of lying to that committee on agriculture that this product is a soil conditioner. Has the mover of this motion placed any material to show that that product was anything other than a soil conditioner? Is there any evidence before the committee to show that GPC, the information, is not a soil conditioner?
There isn't any evidence that has been tabled before the committee to the contrary.
You have, again on Roman 2 of Grout Isa, you are accused of overseeing the implementation of the budgets of the NCPB. As the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, do your duties extend to overseeing the implementation of the budgets of the NCPB?
No.
Are you the controller of budgets, sir?
No.
And are you the accounting officer of the NCPB?
I'm not.
Are you the Auditor General?
No.
Let's go to allegation number 2. On page 6. The claim there, sir, the first claim was about your looks, that when we look at you, the ones we have just exhausted, Honorable Linturi, was that you appear to be a crook. The allegation is appears. Here now, the allegation is that there are serious reasons, not just reasons, for believing that you have committed crimes under the penal code. What is your response, sir?
I have not.
In 2A, they cite a letter by Ahmed Nasir. To the best of your knowledge, has Ahmed Nasir come to testify against you?
No.
But Honorable Linturi, lawyers write letters every day on behalf of their clients. To the best of your knowledge, would a lawyer's letter without more be a good reason to dismiss a cabinet secretary from office?
It can't. It can't form basis.
As a matter of fact, in this litigious and controversial country of ours, are you aware of any cabinet secretary who has never been the subject of a demand letter by some lawyer?
I'm yet to get in.
So, would any cabinet secretary survive in office if the threshold for removal was that some lawyer, whether eminent or not, wrote some letter?
Not only cabinet secretaries, anybody holding public office will have a problem.
They would never survive
They would never
if the test was some lawyer.
Correct.
Not even if the lawyer is very famous and eminent?
It is not possible.
Okay.
Can't be around.
It is said, sir, that in this letter by Ahmed Nasir, you tried to intimidate a Mr. Davesh of Kel's Chemicals. To the best of your knowledge, we sat here yesterday. Have you seen any affidavit by Mr. Davesh of Kel's Chemicals swearing that you intimidated him?
I haven't.
Did he come to the committee to testify to these alleged threats?
No. Unless he is the person being, the committee being asked for.
Are you aware, sir, of anything that may have hindered Mr. Davesh from coming to this committee and say these things that his eminent lawyer says?
No.
You are also accused there on page 6, sir, of ordering the closure of factories. Do your duties as cabinet secretary extend to opening and closing factories?
No.
But as a matter of fact, the Honorable Linturi, you and I have read this motion and you know how many times. Have we seen any evidence of you closing a factory?
No.
Let's go to page 7. Roman 1 at the top. The accusation there is the conduct of one Franklin Medical Linturi acting, quote unquote, Honorable Chair, acting in his role as the cabinet secretary. Then they cite a decision by the High Court, Honorable Lady Justice Omundi, of 30th November 2021. Were you the cabinet secretary for agriculture? Because the allegation is whatever you say to have done, you are doing it, quote unquote, acting in your role as the cabinet secretary. Were you the cabinet secretary for agriculture as of the date of this judgment?
No.
It is said in that same allegation, sir, that the Honorable Lady Justice Omundi ruled against you on these family, criminal, civil, and commercial disputes. Is that correct?
That's not correct.
Is this dispute, sir, one of those that were yesterday called love and affection disputes? This petition number E068, the subject of the ruling mentioned there.
Unfortunately, it is.
It is. And of course, we were told there were 32 others.
Yes.
What do you want to tell this tribunal about these 32 love and affection disputes?
One thing is that I have a conscience, and I'm always very truthful to my conscience, and that is why I meant full disclosure without being prompted. Even when I went before Committee of Parliament during my vetting, because I had nothing to hide, and I wanted the country to understand, to know Linturi and the kind of tribulations that he had to undergo to get to that position, or to get where we were at that time, so that in the future, even if they are brought out, then it's on record that I volunteered that information because there was nothing to hide, because there was a statement of fact that these cases were there. But most importantly, members of the committee, that all these cases revolve around parties or around an individual that unfortunately who are friends, and for whatever reason that may not even be very material, these proceedings, then that relationship will not hold, and out of our own position decided to bring so many cases which I had to defend. And out of the few selected cases here, there is none that I lost. There is even a very interesting case, which is also was mentioned, but whose light we did not even send, which also really appears interesting. And it was case number 74, where I was even being sued to take responsibility of children who are not mine. So all these cases revolve around that kind of disagreement, and I just the members of the committee want to really allow me to state them at start, because it has been a very painful experience. This one, when I start thinking about it, makes me break.
No, a mere man is not allowed to break in public, Honorable Linturi. Just tell the committee, you mentioned tribulations you have undergone because of these personal disputes. Can you please shed more light on those tribulations? Who was the author of those tribulations? How long did they last? And what format did they take?
Members of the committee, I think
Wanna see us be a bit louder?
just like you mentioned yesterday, we had 5-year or 6-year running battles with the former administration, and especially people that were believed to belong to a certain side or to a certain team that was in support of a presidential candidate. Remember, we were tagged as Tanga, and it appeared that I was one of them. And during this time, so many things were done to me, because I was conned, I was talked to, I was intimidated, and all sorts of tricks were used to coerce me not to believe in the candidature or in the person that I was supporting. And because these cases, or that was almost the beginning of these cases, that administration or the leaders then decided to take advantage of that situation and latched on them, and I became a victim of serious persecution, including the interfering with even, business that really did not even concern this. It was not a very easy period for me, and I think it's also common in knowledge, because I've been trained in the media forever, and people do not care whether you have a child. Internet does not forget. I was painted as a person. Even a rape case was a choreographer. Let me finish, because it reminds me of those very bad memories. Because at time it took the intervention of Parliament itself. Because I was arrested when we were seriously even debating very serious bills in the Senate, and a decision was to be made, and numbers really counted, and to be arrested so that I did not participate, even vote for what was on the floor, and took the magnanimity of Parliament, of the Senate, to suspend the sittings of Parliament so that I wouldn't be produced before the Senate because of what was happening. Chair, members of this committee, that is just one of them. I mentioned it yesterday. And this has never happened in the history. In history, anywhere, I'm here to find where you find divorce matters being conducted in public. There is a reason why they are never done, but all these media stations here threaten the country to a comedy about a marriage and divorce for a marriage that never existed. The judgments are here. It was all comedy, it was all persecution. Members of the committee, I was kicked out because of the support of that administration from my own house, for 6 years. House and spent money to build, and I could not. People are given protection to occupy my house forcefully because is nothing we could do. But the only mistake we had done was to support a candidate for president who did not find favor with that administration. So, members of the committee, when I look at this thing and the story, even after appearing before this committee and explaining myself, volunteering information, and you remember yesterday, the mover of the motion who is here, and the audacity to tell me, ukiachwa, achika. You know what that means, niachwe niachike, but that should show you, Chair, and members of this committee, that this matter has not been that easy. I am not following up on anything, but the question I'm asking myself, or any other man here, or any other good leader here, because today people have relationships. They may not work. To what extent can you completely push them? If the courts have determined these matters that are being canvassed here, or in support of this motion, the rulings and judgments are in my favor. And considering the nature of these cases, the evidence, some of them getting this type of evidence, must tell you, you really need to be close to someone who knows about these cases, so that it becomes easy for you to look for any relevant material that can support you. So what I am saying, Chair, is that it is unfortunate, but because these issues have been raised here, I have to really mention them. It will not be my wish, because maybe probably my children are watching the father there. And it's a very trying moment. And some things we leave to God, because there's nothing much we can do, but when we are faced with such situations, and because we must also clear ourselves, we must speak on these matters. So that is what, and I really respectively support women. I am one because I have daughters. My mother herself, I think my mother is a woman who prays for me every time. I may not be a person who goes to church every time, but I think the strength that I have to face such situations are prayers from my mother. I have, were it not for my mother, I would not be here where I am. I have no reason to disrespect women. And probably those women that have interacted with me properly without really taking advantage of me, know the kind of a person who I am. Because I have never disrespected women. I really love women because I know this country can't be what it is without women. I am a believer in the empowerment of women at a personal level.
Now, Honorable Linturi, just so that we make progress, because it's easy to get stuck on this matter, tell the committee how it felt to be accused on TV headlines, newspaper headlines, falsely as a rapist. Just a brief answer. How did they feel as a father, as an honorable member of parliament, to be subjected to TV, camera screens, newspaper headlines that you are a rapist?
Chair, there cannot be any other embarrassing situation like finding yourself on TV.
Honorable CS, Senior Counsel, have a point of order? Or?
Well, my lady, you have to guide us. The committee has to guide us to what extent we can be involved in matters of relationship of the cabinet secretary with a specific woman or with women.
Your Honor, it is my case. I told you yesterday, I have really refrained from engaging my senior on these interjections. It is my case. If the way I do it doesn't persuade the tribunal, if I'm delving on irrelevancies, it is my risk. He's a learned counsel, very eminent learned counsel. He knows, and he knows what he's doing is not right. Let me be protected to prosecute my case. If I fail, I have previously failed in many other cases. This will just be another.
Thank you, Counsel. Senior Counsel, you know very well that the CS it is quite clear that under allegation number 2, I believe, Honorable Wamboka brought out that under his motion. And so when they are covering that, it is, I think, in response to that. Again, you will get your time to re-examine, the cross-examine. So just wait for your time to come so that you can prosecute the matter further. But for the time being, let us progress so that we don't interfere. Thank you.
And Honorable Linturi, let's keep the answers brief because, like I said yesterday, Chair, I appreciate the difficulties of navigating this area. Honorable Linturi, how did it feel to be accused for 5 years non-stop of being a fraudster and a man who forges documents, obtains credit using stolen title deeds, and all the other things listed in ground 2.
Chairman, it's not the space that you would want to find yourself in, but it really takes you when you are accused of such. So the lowest levels in society. Chairman, and I say this because, just like I mentioned, we have children. We teach our children. We discuss sexuality. This is an era where there are diseases all over. And anybody that would imagine that they will do such things is someone that would have wished you death.
You've mentioned diseases, Honorable Linturi. Please tell the committee how it felt to be portrayed for 5 years in a state-sponsored campaign in the media as a man who passes around venereal diseases, because those were some of the issues in these cases.
And just like I said, it feels very, very bad. It is really, really painful.
How did it feel, Honorable Linturi, to be portrayed on newspapers, on TV stations, on radios for 5 years as a man walking around with fake academic papers?
I also want to say it is very, very bad. It is wrong for anybody to do that. But I am really to ask for prayers and God's intervention to give me the energy and the courage to shut down. Otherwise, and I also thank God because and the prayers, never and the slightest of attack of pressure or any other kind of disease, because that would have brought me down.
How did they feel, Linturi, for 5 years? Every possible opportunity on TV, on newspaper, whatever forum, being portrayed as a serial womanizer.
Of course, it feels bad.
Just for the record, Honorable Linturi, because we don't want to be seen to be trying to extract undeserved sympathy, between you and the mover of this motion, who has introduced these love and affection cases to this committee? You have to answer on the mic. Between you and the mover of the motion, who has brought these issues of love and affection to the committee? Is it you or is it the mover?
It is the mover.
Honorable Linturi is still back on that campaign. You told this committee that various judges and magistrates ruled in your favor in all of those allegations. Correct or incorrect?
It's correct. They ruled in my favor.
So my question, sir, did you see the media cover your vindication by various judges and magistrates with the same level of excitement and exaggeration they had used to cover the allegation?
I want to say no, and there is even a testimony in today's papers of what transpired yesterday.
Honorable Linturi, while this motion was going on, the motion we are in, have you been subjected to any negative media publicity?
Quite a lot.
I request at this time, Chair, we play video, I believe number what, Mawira? It must be number 3. The one, the bulletin by Citizen.
Waziri wa Kilimo umefika Linturi kwa sasa, anahojiwa katika makao makuu ya DCI kuhusiana na sakata ya mbolea ghushi. Linturi kwa sasa anaandikisha taarifa huku bunge likijadili hoja ya kumbadua kutoka mamlakani. Mwandishi wetu Sefa Lale yuko katika sehemu hiyo na sasa tunaungana naye moja kwa moja. Sefa, tueleze hali ikoje katika makao makuu ya DCI? Je, waziri Linturi ameshatoka ndani?
Na kulingana na undani wa idara hii ya upelelezi DCI ni kwamba Linturi tayari anahojiwa kuhusiana na sakata ya ufisadi wa mbolea ghushi, na kwamba aliweza kufika hapa takriban saa moja iliyopita, na kwamba ni shughuli tu ya kutaka kujua kiini cha kilichotendeka kulikana na kisa hicho, na kwamba bado haijabainika iwapo atazuiliwa, lakini kwa hivi sasa tu tunaarifiwa kwamba aliweza kufika hapa na anatakiwa tu aandikishe taarifa maalum kuhusu yale yaliyotokea kuhusu madai ya kuhusika kwa sakata ya mbolea ghushi. Kwa kwamba hii inajiri takriban chini ya saa 24 tangu bunge kuteua rasmi kamati maalum ambayo itachunguza kuhusiana ama madai inayomhusisha waziri Linturi kwa sakata hiyo. Tayari kamati hiyo ambayo inaongozwa na mbunge na uwapo ya wanachama 11 tayari imefanya kikao. Kamati hiyo imefanya kikao chake cha kwanza, na tunaarifiwa kwamba ni kikao ambacho kitazungumzia labda ama kitaweka baina masuala kuhusu ratiba, jinsi wale ambao walihusishwa katika sakata hii.
So, Honorable Linturi, to the best of your knowledge, we can stop it there so that we save on time. When was this broadcast made, Honorable Linturi, to the best of your knowledge?
Last week. I don't remember whether you said this date. It's last week. That's Wednesday or Thursday there.
On the 2nd.
On the 2nd, yes.
That is the day this motion was being canvassed before the House. This broadcast says, sir, you have been arrested because of this matter now before the committee, and you are undergoing interrogation at the DCI. Were you arrested?
I was not. I was not even summoned there. And the last time I went to DCI was those years that time.
Would I be right to say, sir, this is the biggest media house in Kenya?
Yes. Even the Star carried an online article.
We'll come to the Star. Let's deal with this one for now. But Linturi, what do you say of this campaign? You have just taken us through a 5-year campaign of negative media publicity. What do you say of the fact that even when the matter is before this committee and parliament, the leading media house in the country is publishing fake news about you?
It's part of the scheme.
It's part of the scheme. Has this media house issued any retraction now that it is common knowledge this was fake news?
Not at all.
Have they even apologized to you?
No.
We are still on these love and affection things. I request we play the next video, which is number 4.
For me, it's economic sabotage. Because if this farmer is not going to grow maize for the next 8 years, for the next 7 years, because of someone trying to get rich right now, putting some stain and more urea, that is required by the soil.
So should President William Ruto show Mithika Linturi the door?
For me, I think the president should lead from the front on this particular issue, because fertilizer has been his running call, and us within UDA and Kenya Kwanza government have actually run behind, because we have seen the fruits.
So will this be proper for the president to fire Mithika Linturi?
He needs to take action, whatever action that is required of him.
So, Honorable Linturi, who is the person speaking in that video?
That's the member of Parliament for Arundai, who unfortunately was my friend.
So, Honorable Linturi, is it coincidental this honorable member is making calls for your dismissal, and when the motion arrives before the House, it has 32 cases she has filed against you, and she has lost all of them? Is it a coincidence?
It isn't. In fact, this is the move of the motion by proxy.
She's the mover of the motion
Yes.
by proxy. But the Honorable Linturi,
Presiding Chair.
Yes, Honorable TJ.
You know, it is very difficult to wade in this area without getting scratched. But let me advise Council that although these are facts and issues which you must work around, try to walk the thin balance.
I'm guided, since you and I always agree because you make perfect sense,
no,
so I'm guided.
Just 1 minute. Between casting up aspersions on a member of Parliament without a substantive motion and in proceedings such as this, but still retaining your right to talk around these issues. Because if you say two things, one, that it is a coincidence, would it be a coincidence that these things happen around the same time when a member of Parliament had said certain things, yet it is the sponsor of the motion who has collected judgments. Judgments are public documents which the sponsor can collect without necessarily...
Not the personal matters, Chair. The divorce causes and disputes are not public documents.
Council, allow Honorable TJ to conclude, then you can come in.
So it is important, in principle, to protect a member of Parliament like I. Yet, of course, there are issues that you must cover. So try to walk that very difficult balance so that we protect everybody here.
I'm guided, Chair, like I say. The honorable member and I are lawyers, and he's my senior, and as you have seen, we agree on many things, and I entirely agree with him even on this. I only request that, yesterday we invited the mover to consider dropping these allegations so that we don't have to be in this unfortunately to be any. So I'm not walking a very tight road. I must deal with the allegations in the motion. And here there are natural limits, of course, on how much as passion we can cast on the honorable member for Aldai. But I'm guided, so let's proceed. The Honorable Linturi.
Council, Honorable Omanyo, you can say something.
Just watched my colleague on the screen, and the advocate has been almost convincing me that putting people on the media like that, and now he's doing the same to the other person. And the CS has said he respects women, he loves them. So why display her like that again on the screen? I'm confused.
Honorable Chair,
You can respond.
The answer is simple. I have a client faced with the ground 2 of the motion that entirely revolves around matters of personal love and affection, which unfortunately, my client, if this motion is upheld by your committee, will not be eligible ever again in his life to hold a public office. And I have an accuser who bases their accusation on personal matters. When they are mentioned, as they must be, unless the allegation is dropped, that's what I said yesterday. We can't eat our cake and have it. For me, I am happy. If the mover is happy to withdraw this allegation, I'll be happy to have everything about these personal matters expunged. But he can't have it both ways. And I have a client to defend. I must do my job. I agree, of course, to the guidance by my senior Honorable Kajuan that there are limits. And I'm an honorable advocate, Chair. I will abide by what are the natural limits that I cannot cross in dealing with this part of the problem. I too am a married man with a wife and children, so I appreciate. And I'm 43 years old, so I know what lines I cannot cross in prosecuting this, but I must represent my client.
Sure.
Dr. Nyamai.
Well, Chair, I know this is very sensitive, and
Chair, again, I think we've run into the problem we had yesterday, discovered during the interjection the clock is not stopping, and I don't want to have again to come.
Our team is alert, and they are taking note of that.
Yes.
well, Chair, these matters that are being raised here, unfortunately, they are there on accusation number 2, or ground 2, in the motion. And I must say that for all of us, it's very difficult to listen and watch this. I do not know whether we can request the good lawyer not to over-explain, because the over-explanation is also affecting your client. We have been seated here watching, and maybe you can explain less. All those 32 issues, which you must find a way of navigating, for the purpose of your client, I think it will be useful that you just do not over-explain. That would be my proposal, Chair.
Again, I'm guided, Chair. I have absolutely no problem with that guidance.
Thank you. Vice Chair, you wanted to say? Okay. Any other member? No. Council, it is quite clear that the process you are taking us through, and especially on this particular matter, is very sensitive and moving people emotionally, including your client, as Honorable Member has said. But we can't run away from it again because it is in the motion. But what we are saying is, please take care of people's emotion, while at the same time you will be able to bring out issues that matter and are relevant. Thank you.
I will ask only 2 more questions on this matter. Honorable Linturi, all these so-called personal love and affection issues in ground 2, did they happen before or during your tenure as Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture? They happened before. To the best of your knowledge, sir, does Article 152 on removal of Cabinet Secretaries under a motion such as the one before us apply to events that took place before appointment?
No.
Last question on that area, Honorable Linturi. How many people in your estimation would survive removal from office if personal love and affection and broken relationships were the standard for removal from office?
None at all. None. Including none.
None would survive. Let's go to allegation number 3. Luckily, Chair, we are past that difficult territory. That is on page 8, sir. You are accused of breaching the Leadership and Integrity Act. Can you see that allegation in paragraph 3A? It is said, sir, that the reason you are sought to be removed from office is that you are engaged in a public, operative word being public, a public spat with journalists. As the mover presented before this committee evidence of you being engaged in a public spat with journalists?
No, he hasn't.
In the type of world we live in, Honorable Linturi, would it be difficult to prove, quote unquote, public spat with journalists?
No.
Because the journalists would have recorded it anyway. That's what they do for a living, right?
Yes.
Has this committee been shown any recording of that public spat?
We haven't seen any.
But we are told the evidence of this is a press statement that was issued by Ms. Faith Odhiambo, President of the Law Society. Has that person sworn any witness statement before this committee?
She hasn't sworn in.
Did she come to testify in support of this motion?
No.
But the Honorable Linturi again, on a typical day in Kenya, how many press statements are issued against cabinet secretaries?
So many.
So how many cabinet secretaries will survive in office if a press statement issued by whoever person would be the threshold for removing a cabinet secretary from office?
None will survive.
Again, the same press statement mentioned the issue of fertilizers in Ground 3B, rather invoking licenses. Has any evidence been placed before?
No.
None. You were shown a number, rather we were shown a number of letters yesterday. A number of letters authored by your permanent secretary. I request it be shown the letters, Honorable Chair. But I can put the question since he has had the chance. The Honorable Linturi, does any of those letters by the permanent secretary indicate how you may conceivably have committed a gross violation of the Constitution?
No.
Does any of those letters have any bearing on any of the three allegations before this committee?
No.
No.
In fact, some of them try to exonerate us or exonerate me from blame.
In fact, some of them exonerate you.
Yeah.
So, Honorable Linturi, based on the text of those letters, the good thing with letters is they speak for themselves.
Correct.
Has any basis been laid for this committee to summon your permanent secretary on the inquiry before it, based on the text of those letters?
No, not at all.
Yesterday again, we were told many things, sir, about the Fertilizer Act. And I've just taken you to allegation number 1, allegation number 2, and allegation number 3. Is there any allegation in this motion accusing you of the breach of the Fertilizer and the Animal Foodstuffs Act or any other law?
None at all.
None at all. But as a matter of fact, the Honorable Linturi, are you guilty of failing to implement any provisions of that act?
No.
Would you tell this select committee why that act has not been fully implemented?
I want to say, first of all, by way of background, it's quite an old act. I think it dates back in 1965, which was amended again in the year 2015. And when it was amended, introduced the aspect of board, and for purposes of implementation, this has been work in progress. It's been work in progress because as a ministry, we tasked the Director Crops and Director Veterinary Services to, in the meantime, be dealing with the issue. A task force was formed, even in my absence. I was not the minister, but that is the record that we have. So, because there's a number of technical challenges that requires to be addressed. So, the Act does not say by when, but processes have started. A task force was formed. It's coming up with a report. So, I don't think it's really fair to bring that issue for me even to comment about it when it's not part of the allegations or one of the allegations I'm facing before this committee. In fact, it's irrelevant to the proceedings.
Yesterday, Honorable Linturi, whenever we asked the mover, he kept talking about perception and your character. Whenever we cornered him, there is no specific allegation. I don't know whether you're following my question, Mr. Witness. The mover of this motion told the committee many times about your perception, your character, your reputation, therefore you should be removed from office. What do you have to say to that?
I have also tried to look at the grounds for removal of office, and the perception is not really one of the grounds that can form basis of removal of anyone from the office.
Let's assume for a moment, Honorable Linturi, for argument's sake, that one can be removed from office because they have such a terrible reputation. We're just asking for argument's sake. Assuming that were a ground, would it apply when that terrible reputation is a result of a 5-year state-sponsored negative campaign against you?
No, it can't be.
Honorable Linturi, you are a lawyer, or is it my assumption?
I am.
Under our legal system, to the best of your knowledge, are we allowed to judge people based on their reputation and character and how they are perceived?
No.
Let's come to the testimony of Titus Kiprotich. Did he say he had read or had not read the motion before the committee? Please answer on the mic.
He said he had not read the motion.
As a matter of fact, did he say he did not even know that the witness statement he wrote was to be used in these proceedings?
He didn't. Yes, he did.
So, Honorable Linturi, a witness is brought against you, and his testimony is that he has not even read the allegations against you. What do you say to that?
And without really trying to judge, probably the witness did not, the witness himself admittedly didn't know even the contents of the motion.
Honorable CS, there is a member of parliament who wants to say something, a member of this committee. Honorable Onyumanyo.
I think we should be honest. The witness said he did not come to impeach anyone, but he only had evidence of fake fertilizer.
Those are not my notes, Honorable Chair, and maybe your answer can confirm because it's a matter of record.
Allow me to respond to Honorable Manyo. Honorable Manyo, as I said yesterday, the information you have said, we are all aware. We are all witnesses. We heard what that individual witness said. So please, sober up. I know you want to represent the people on the ground, but we are here as select committee. So take your role and listen. Thank you.
Sir, one of the other testimony brought against you was by a Bernard Kuria Wajiko. Did he say he had read or had not read the motion against you?
He had not read.
He had not read. This gentleman testified about a fertilizer called Mavuno. To the best of your knowledge, is that particular brand of fertilizer one of those that are at the inquiry by this committee?
No.
It is not one of them.
Yes.
So again, Linturi, you have a witness who came. He says he never read even the motion against you. And the fertilizer he is testifying about is not even one of those at the inquiry. What do you have to say to that?
He never knew what he was coming here to do or what was the contents of discussion by this committee.
There was David Maina. This is the gentleman from Africa who allegedly got a report from Africa and censored. Did he say he had read or he had not read the motion against you?
He had not read.
So again, you're confronted by a witness who has not even read the allegations against you. But this gentleman was purporting to speak to some reports. Did he say he was the author or was not the author of those reports?
He said he was not the author.
This gentleman was called here supposedly as an expert on fertilizers. Was he able to present before this committee, to the best of your knowledge, any evidence that he is an expert on the chemical composition of fertilizer?
He did not produce any.
Okay, let's come to Sami Kiptum Birgen. I hope I'm not honorable Chiriot massacring the name. Sami Kiptum Birgen. Did he say he had read or had not read the motion against you?
He had not read.
So again, Honorable Linturi, we have a witness coming here to persuade the select committee should be dismissed from office, but he has not even read the allegations against you. What do you have to say to that?
We can't take him to be serious.
We can't take him to be serious. Did this witness have any certificate of electronic evidence to the best of your knowledge that would be valid?
None.
None. Heavy weather yesterday was made about the poor and the vulnerable. Honorable Linturi, without trivializing the very unfortunate things that happen to some of our farmers, is the administration of justice supposed to be done based on economic or social status, or should the process be blind to status?
It should be blind to status.
Let's come to the testimony of Hosea Kipketer Ruto. Did Kipketer Ruto testify that he had read or had not read the motion against you?
He had not read.
What do you have to say to that? That the witness called to prove the allegations against you is not even aware of what the allegations are.
Probably he may have even been duped by the mover to come here when he really didn't know exactly what he was coming to do. So we can't take his evidence seriously.
We can't take his evidence seriously. So, Honorable Linturi, we have the mover of the motion. He was unable to point a specific act or omission on your part. And every witness is called and not even read the allegations against you. What do you say to that?
Of the committee, that's a clear demonstration of how trivial is really meant this matter by calling people who never knew exactly what they were coming to answer to. And this can be demonstrated by his absence in these proceedings today, because, you know, the story that we had was about farmers' interests, the issues that we all and to listen to is presenting the country. So how his absence here in these proceedings also me form the opinion probably he was also not serious about this matter and must have been on a fishing expedition.
Honorable Linturi, you have attached a number of documents to your affidavit, and I want us to quickly run through them. Let's go to document under flyer number 2. What is this document, Honorable Linturi?
This is a charge sheet.
It's a charge sheet.
Yes.
Who is the accused person there?
Is Christine Nyambura Muturi.
Do you know that person?
I know this person to be one of the wives of Mheshimiwa Wamboka, who was married on the 15th
of May 2023 in the United States, in Arizona. And they have 2 children that are surviving.
And what is she accused of?
Cheating.
According to this charge sheet?
Cheating contrary to Section 315 of the Penal Code.
So, the Honorable Linturi, what do you have to say about this grad studying accuser of yours and the fact that in his own nuclear family there are accusations of this type?
Chair. Honorable TJ, Counsel, what are you leading to in your line of questioning? That specific area. What are you leading?
Honorable Chair, the move of this motion has taken the posture of a gentleman who cares about our society, the public interest, the vulnerable. He is public-spirited. He is a bona fide man acting in good faith. Clearly, it must say something if he can't do charity at home. I'm trying to build basically the case which I'm allowed under the law to discredit the character of my client's accuser. But more importantly,
I get you, Chair. Just leave it there.
I hadn't finished, so there is another reason.
No, just a minute.
Yes.
You know, when we subject issues in public glare, the more we speak about them, the more we accentuate the defamation therein. In fact, just as the chair had guided you, you may think that you are vindicating and exonerating your client, but the more you project and trumpet them, the more you increase the readership, the audience, which therefore, just defamation.
Again, I'm guided, Chair, like I said, I always agree with
the issue,
I wanted to skip senior, I'm guided.
No, the issue I want to drive at here, the charge sheet you have shown us is just a charge sheet. You know that there must be a conviction to carry the issues that you're talking about. And so if you don't have a conviction, would you be persuaded to leave that type of questioning for another day until there is...
I'm guided, so we don't need to spend more time on it. Just to say I was not
and accusation over accusation does not make anything right. You know, it really doesn't.
Honorable Linturi, let's go to the document at page 49 of your bundle. 49 years. Yes. What is that document, sir?
Of National Serious and Produce Board.
That's the organizational
structure.
Of what?
NCPB.
Is that the agency that was procuring the fertilizers in question?
Yes.
From that organizational structure, has the Cabinet Secretary been assigned any powers with regard to public procurement at NCPB?
No.
Let's go to the procurement department under that organizational structure at page 55 of the Bado, who is indicated as the topmost person on matters to do with procurement at the National Cereals and Produce Board.
It's the manager procurement.
Who is below them?
The deputy manager.
And there are, of course, several other people below them.
Yes.
Is the Cabinet Secretary indicated there as one of the people who have any duty or role or power on matters to do with procurement at NCPB?
No.
Let's go to page 63, sir. What is that document?
Is the application or invitation for tender, an advertisement to supply fertilizer.
Who has issued that advert in the middle?
The Managing Director, National Cereals and Produce Board.
The Managing Director?
Yeah.
Are you the Managing Director of NCPB?
No.
Okay. Let's go to page 64. What is that document, sir?
It's a clarification of the advert.
It's a clarification of the advert. Who has signed it at page 65?
The Managing Director, for Managing Director, I signed for the Managing Director.
Is this your signature?
No.
But back to page 64. Can you read for the select committee the words that are highlighted there?
Kindly note that the specifications published in the tender document was indicative. You are required to provide your specifications as per your formulation in line with the KEBS standards, upon which evaluation shall be based from both planting and top dressing fertilizers.
So the request was for fertilizer that complies with KEBS standards?
Yes.
Is that consistent with the accusation repeated 10 times in the motion?
It is not.
That there was
fake
approval for procurement of fake fertilizer? Is it consistent or inconsistent?
Inconsistent.
Let's go to document number 3. What is that document, sir?
This is a decision of the Public Procurement and Administrative Review Board.
That is the court or tribunal that determines procurement disputes, isn't it?
Yes.
And who are the parties?
Aeon Kenya Insurance Brokers and Teacher Service Commission.
Now, I want us to go to one of the issues this tribunal resolved in that matter. When is the date of this decision? The date is on page 105.
20th February 2015.
It's like 9 years ago, right?
Yes, yes.
So the matter we are discussing was settled 9 years ago. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Now let's go to page 94. Please read to the tribunal the parts of that decision that are highlighted, that is relevant to the inquiry before us.
The board therefore accepts the applicant's submission that the commissioners or any other officer or employee of the Teacher Service Commission were strangers to the procurement proceedings, and their decision to terminate their award of the tender made in favor of the applicant was therefore unlawful. Under the provisions of Section 26 of Section 4 of the Act, every procuring entity is required by law to establish a procuring unit, a tender evaluation / processing team, the tender committee, and such other bodies as are required by the regulations for the purposes of making decisions on behalf of the public entity as are specified in the Act and the regulations. Once such bodies have been established, it is only the said bodies which are empowered to undertake any tender process to the exclusion of everybody else.
Does this decision confirm the part 5 we read on segregation of responsibilities and structured corporate decision-making systems?
It does.
Let us go to your document number 4, sir. What is that document?
This is a survey report by the Central Bank of Kenya on the performance of the agriculture sector up to March 2024.
Is the Central Bank of Kenya a semi-autonomous agency?
It is.
Under which ministry does it fall?
Finance.
It falls under
Treasury.
the Ministry of Finance. Would I be right, therefore, to say you have no capacity to influence reports of this agency in your capacity as Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture.
You are right.
Would you call this agency of the Republic of Kenya a respected or a non-respected public agency?
Very respected.
Very highly respected. Would I be right, sir, to say this institution is respected not just locally but globally?
Yes.
Let's go to this report, or survey report they wrote, page 110 of your Badu. Can you read on the second column of page 110 the words that are highlighted?
In this regard, a large share of respondents cited the continued positive impact of pump price reduction by EPRA and the government subsidized fertilizer initiative. The proportion of respondents who reported to have accessed the subsidized fertilizer increased significantly in March 2024 relative to the January 2024 survey. Most farmers rely on rain-fed agriculture, and the uptake in fertilizer intake in March 24 was a strategy to capitalize on the March-May 24 long rain season.
You know, Honorable Linturi, heavy weather has been made about poor, vulnerable farmers, and we are not trying to rubbish or in any way diminish the misfortunes some farmers suffered. But isn't there also in this CBK report a positive story from the farmers?
Yeah.
Should this committee only consider the very unfortunate story which we acknowledge? Or should it also consider these positive stories recognized by none other than the Central Bank of the Republic of Kenya?
They shouldn't. They shouldn't consider other stories, both.
Good. Let's go to page 111. Again, what does the Central Bank say? Their study revealed. It's highlighted there.
Most respondents attributed their optimism to the recent appreciation of the Kenya shilling, which they expect will be sustained. Expectations that the subsidized fertilizer initiative would continue and that the March-May 2024 long rain season would be favorable.
At page 106, what is the date of this report by CBK?
March 2024.
And on the motion before the Assembly, or rather before the committee, what is the date of the motion?
Let us check the actual date.